Hello, good evening. My name is Dozie, and this is a video I'm making to explain the use of shadows in graphics design. Now, we use shadows when we want to indicate the position of something with respect to light in a design. Usually, there's shadow when there is light and a little bit of darkness. All right, so the shadow helps us to show the direction of the light source, and it also helps us to show that there is actually some feel to whatever you're doing at any point in time. And so I'm going to do two designs right now, just illustrating shadows, and then I will also give a challenge. All right, now I'm making this video at the moment because I am currently teaching a student who is having issues with shadows. So I decided to actually make this video to kind of explain to her what the whole thing is about. All right, so you coming across this video, you can watch it. It should help you in one way or the other. So I'm going to do a design right now of picture frames. All right, picture frames, and the picture frames is actually they are going to be like three, and I'm going to give them shadows to create an imaginary light source. And you're going to see that there will be no light source at the beginning, but when I add my shadows, then you now tend to look at the pictures from a different angle. All right, so the shadow directs you to know where the light source is coming from. Since you're the one creating the shadows, you're also determining where the light source is coming from. All right, a lot of talk, let's go right into it. So I have a source folder which I'm also going to share with you if you have access to this video. So I've created it. This is 1080. The height is 1080 pixels, the width is 1080 pixels, Instagram size. All right, so let me create a new layer. I don't like working with the background on my layers, so I'll create a new layer. I won't take it to like white. I'll just use a color close to white but not white. Okay, I mistakenly use text, so let me just paint this. Yeah, it looks white, but it's not white actually. I don't like using pure white. I don't know why. Okay, so now I'm going to add my picture frames and place. So let me go to my resource folder. That's shadow. Yeah, my shadow resource folder. Nice name. All right, and that's the picture frame I want. I've already converted them all to PNG, so it depends on how you want to use them. All right, so I'm going to reduce this because I'm going to have like 3 pictures, like I said. Okay, so hold down Shift. I've taught my student most of these, but just for the benefit of doubt of those people watching it for the first time. All right, yeah, so to us to make sure that this is a PNG, if I switch off all the layers, then we see that square filling behind. All right, so I'll just switch on the layer I need. Ctrl T to rotate this a little. Yeah, or let me leave it straight. So that when I place my pictures, I won't have issues. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this now. All right, it's duplicated right on top of it, so you might not see it, so I'll just drag it away. Reduce it a bit. All right, and of course I'm going to duplicate again, but this time around I won't leave it landscape. I'll make it portrait. So let me just, okay, instead of doing that, just right click and then say rotate 90, whatever direction. The main thing is that it's rotating 90. and I think it will make sense if I make it a little bit bigger. Yep, drag it down a little bit, then position this way. Yeah, something like this. Not so bad. Yeah, exactly. All right, so now I want to create this feel of shadow effect, but before I do that, let me add the pictures so that you see what this is really about. Now I want to place pictures into this. Please take note of this now. All right, in case you're actually new to graphic design, there are many ways you can actually solve a problem. So let's look at this. I want to place this picture in one of the frames. All right, everybody knows that what we use is clip marks, but don't be tempted to just use clip marks like this, because what some people are going to do now is that, oh, this is what we want to do, right? They will now take the picture and then they'll drag it behind this frame. All right, which is also good if you don't have areas sticking out here. All right, so you can just just fit it, resize it so that it hides behind the frame. All right, and if you want, you can of course group these two together so that you know that anywhere this one goes, the other one goes. So let's create a group. And group them both. All right, so if I switch this off, they go together. All right, makes sense. All right, so now let me add another one, another picture. I think that's for the portrait, right? If it's not for it, we'll still go for the last one. Yeah, so I think, yeah, that's for the portrait. All right, so I'm just gonna make sure you're holding down shift and make sure you leave your keyboard first. So shift and then go to the edge. That will make it to reduce uniformly. All right, and make sure you leave your mouse first before you leave the keyboard. All right, before you leave the shift. If not, you're going to have an awkwardly shaped, you know what I mean. So yeah, one way or the other to just fit in. All right, and then that's my second one, and finally I go for the third one. So as usual, I'm going to group this so that they go together. Just group it and drag it, create a group, drag them inside. So if I switch this off, oops, I have a mistake there. I used the wrong frame, so I just drag this frame out and drag this one in. Oops, and you see it's on top of it, so you just change the layer position. Layer positions are the most important thing in Photoshop is layers. All right, if you can manipulate your layers, you understand Photoshop 10%. all right, so let's add another picture, which is of course the last picture. So the class is already pre-planned, so I have all my resources. I'm not just going to start looking for resources right now. I have them all here. So I'm going to reduce this, yep, and then try to place it there. Remember, it should be behind, so let me just place it behind so that I can know exactly what I'm doing. All right, so Ctrl T again, reduce, stop. Okay, so I see that if I keep on reducing this just to accommodate the rest of this part that is not here, it might not be suitable. All right, so what I'm going to do now is that I'm just going to count this part as an outcast. All right, so I'll come here, I'll use my magic wand, select, then I'll go back to my flower and I'll delete. All right, and it's saying it's not directly editable, so I'll just rasterize this and then delete. All right, and then I have that. So I have 3 pictures now with 3 frames, all looking nice, but this is looking too flat. All right, it's looking flat. Of course, I forgot to group that, so make sure I group it. All right, but this is looking flat. All right, we are quite all right. There are 3 nice frames and all that, but we need to give it this feel. Okay, it's hanging on the wall. Is the wall so perfect? Is the light so perfect that there's no shadow? All right, we need to make it have a little bit of shadow, or they're on a table, and of course there's a window close by where light is coming from. Of course, the other part that doesn't have the window will definitely show a little bit of shadow to show you where the light is coming from. All right, so that's what we're going to do now. So if you've gotten to this point, you can try recreating this if you want. I'll give you my resources. If you've gotten to this part, then you know that you have tried, right? So now let's create our shadow effect. Now the shadow effect is going to come to just the picture frame. Don't do it to the flower. If you do it to the flower, you're going to have some issues. All right, you're going to have some issues. Now even at that, doing that to the flower gives some issues. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a brush to select a color, and let's assume a light direction. Wow. All right, so I'm going to just do this. Let's assume a light direction. So let's assume that our light is coming from, oh, this is too fat. Okay, so let's assume our light is coming from this direction. All right, so any shadow we're going to put has to be moving this way. All right, so our light is coming from this way, so our shadows have to be this way, and this way. All right, so let me just take away those 3. Yeah, leave our light source. All right, so what we can do is, let me try this. I don't know if this will work. Let me just try grouping the group. Let me try giving the group a shadow and see what happens. Yeah, that worked. All right, so we're just going to give the group a shadow. So you see, what I have here is distance is 5, spread 0, and size is 5 for this one. Now I said the direction of the light is coming upwards, so it's not going to make sense if it's this way. All right, so we just play with the angle by taking it to 90 degrees. You see the shadow direction has changed. All right, so I'm just going to increase the size. All right, a little bit, not so big. All right, and if you want to show that the light is really intense, all right, not like the light is just coming there to and it's gentle and all that, what we can do is that we increase the distance. So that distance now gives more intensity on where the light is coming from. All right, but you notice that it's not going to be reasonable if the distance is so much. All right, so a little bit of distance. Yeah, I think this 13 is okay, and please, the spread should go back to 0. All right, and now it's looking so thick. All right, so what we do is that we reduce the opacity. Yeah, something like this. All right, something like this. And let me try again. Yeah, so something like this. So 38 for the opacity, 13 for the distance, and size. Now you can cram these settings and use them for the 3 groups, since all of them have the same light source. Yeah, you don't need to now waste your time start cramming. Oh, this is where this should start from, or this is the. So in order to just take those settings, I'll cram it just so that you know. Opacity 38, distance 13, the rest 0, and the size 13. All right, but in order not to keep on wasting my time trying to know what this is, I'll just make this default. All right, so just come here and say make default. Simple. Boom. And then when you say make default, you can click OK. And then once you go to the next group, you right click, blending options, and then you just click on shadow. Pop. It gives you exactly the same settings. All right, gives you exactly, so you can see exactly the same settings. All right, you click OK. But before you make something default, make sure that you're comfortable with the current situation of the design, because if that's not the case, you might have to go around and change them again one after the other, or make another default and then try to select it one after the other. So you're not making the frame, you're not giving the frame a shadow, you're not giving the picture a shadow, you're giving the group a shadow, so that shadows don't come on top the picture and shadows don't go behind the frame. All right, it comes as a group now. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to, for the top frame now, I'll just drop shadow and then pop the same settings. All right, now this looks better. All right, it looks better. So now I can switch off my layer showing the direction of the text, and this looks more realistic, like the designs you guys see from day to day. Now, in order to add some effect to this, I have some special brushes I've always had. Now, I don't usually like brushing layers I use for my design. Instead, I create an empty layer for my brushes. All right, so I'll select this brush I like. It's a leaf, is like a leaf brush of leaves. I can increase it, and then I have to give it a color that, let's say something close to purple, or something just not common. Yeah, I think something there. I don't know how nice that would be. So I'll just try to paint this. No, I don't want to drag it. All right, so all I'm doing now is happening behind because of the layer I'm painting. All right, I've taught you this. All right, so this video is dedicated to my student. All right, she's actually nice. She's interesting to teach anyway. All right, so this is the first stuff. So let me just save this. I'm sure if you understand the concept of this, you can make it better. So I'll just do this. I'll save it. Picture framing. Yeah, let me just name it picture framing. PSD. Later I'll save it as a picture. I'll save it as a picture so that you can see the final output when you want to test yours. All right. But please don't like take it and say, oh, it's mine. No, that. All right. So give credit to who credit is due. All right. Now I'm going to do one more, and that's where the assignment will come from. So I'll create a new layer. I'll create a new project, and of course I'm going to use 1080 still the Instagram. I'll try to be fast about this one, so that the assignment or challenge, depending. Some assignments for my students was a challenge for who else is watching it, because an assignment because she has to do it. It's a challenge because, well, if you find it difficult, you can run. All right. So of course, create a new layer and give it my own background, which is not really necessary in this case. All right. So I want to now show you the effect of like shadow. All right, interesting. So place. Now remember in the last design we gave the source of light. Now we are going to work on designs that have their own source of light, so we have to work with whatever we get there. Yeah, so I'm going to do this. Now let me use this. Now we have a door, and obviously if you look at the design, you see that there's a lot of light coming from the door. All right, so what I can do is that I'm going to stretch this myself, keep stretching. All right, but watching it so that it doesn't like go off. Yeah, I'm beating the design already. Okay, let's say we have this. Yeah, so this is blur already and I don't like it, so let me try the next picture, place. I don't like that, it's already blur. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to like zoom in so much, so I'll just reduce the size back to something usable. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to come below here, pick this color, and I'll just kind of try to paint. I don't know how it's going to look, but yeah, let's just complete this. All right, I'm not doing this because I just want to show you the effect of shadow. All right, so let's just leave this out anyway. So I'm just going to design this. All right, so let's say in the holy books, people at the end of their life, you get to heaven and all that. All right, so go to a layer above this, and I'm going to place a man with a suit ready to enter into the gates of light. All right, so place this. I have pictures already, so these are 3 pictures in one. So you can see I have 3 pictures and I have to just choose one. All right, so this is the one most likely I'm going to use because it's actually facing the door. So I'm just going to use my eraser to make sure that this is rasterized already. Clean off this guy and clean off this guy and leave just this one. If I Ctrl T now, you see that we have a smaller picture. If it's showing bigger than that, just clean around the areas, then there must be some particles of the picture remaining. Ctrl T again, and yeah, this is it. All right, so this is where we are right now. All right, I'm going to just reduce this more because I want to show you an extension of the shadow. All right, although it would have been more realistic if it wasn't so small before the door. Yeah, so this is nice. It's wide close to the door. The door is kind of big, but it's still useful around there. All right, so I want to create a shadow of this now. Remember when we were doing the last design, we came to build options where we could change this. But if I do shadow here, it doesn't make any sense. Even if, no matter how I edit this, it is not going to make any sense. Why? Because the shadow needs to conform with the direction of light, and we can see that the light is coming from the door. All right, so what we need to do is to duplicate this guy, and then I'm going to, let's just leave him the way he is. So I can take him to the back, I'll take it to the back because your shadow shouldn't be on top of you, it should be on top of your shadow. All right, and then I'll Ctrl T this. I'll first of all flip vertical. All right, and then take him to the end of my shadow. That's step 1. All right, that's step 1. Now step 2 is that I can reduce, I can do this. Please take note of what I'm about to do now. I don't want him, it's okay like this, so I'm going to use Control and I'll come to the middle of the top, which is upside down now. Control, and I'll drag it this way. Yep, I'll drag it this way. Perspective, I've taught you that. My Uju, I've taught you that. All right, and then this is it. All right, so I'll just use my direction tool and position this the way it should be. All right, now just make sure that it's touching. All right, so if you zoom back in, you see that this is looking quite better. All right, now you just need to make sure that you're getting the right direction of light. All right, so just yeah, I think something like this. All right, so now what you want to do, okay, this is not so right still. Yes, something like this. Yeah, something like that. All right, now you're not going to see an exact replica of him right here. All right, but this is something I'm going to teach you later. What I'm about to do now, I will teach you later. Now, even if you reduce the opacity, you find out that a clear duplicate of him is quite showing on the ground there, which is not really what you want. All right, you want a shadow to be black. just black. All right, so usually what I'll do is I'll just go to my hue and saturation, and I'll change this lightness to dark, and I'll make sure that it's clip marked on the shadow alone. All right, now when it's clip marked on the shadow alone, then only that effect takes the whole color. So now you see that it's all black, the same shape and everything. Now I can reduce the opacity of the guy in suit. All right, and that gives us a perfect shadow. All right, interesting, really interesting if you ask me. All right, so if you want to do this, you can get a better image, or if it's a church stuff, then you can put in the rest of the info here. All right, and then this is another way to shadow. All right, so this is your assignment right now. All right, I'm just going to save this to man shadow. Yeah. All right, so this is your assignment now. In my results folder, I have another picture of a door. Let me show you that picture. I have another picture of a door, this one. All right, door 2, and you're going to use one of these pictures of the man in suit. You're going to use one of me. I used one of them for mine, so you're going to use one of this to do door 3, and you're also going to use one for door 2. So it's your call, choose whatever, but just the aim is put the picture, give a shadow, and the shadow should conform with the direction of the light coming from the door. Does that make sense? All right, if you have issues, you can contact me. Anyhow, you know how to reach me. I'm a graphics designer, I'm a front-end web developer. All right, so it's easy to find me. My username on Instagram is IamChuksDozie. On Twitter, I am ChuksDozie. On GitHub, I am ChuksDozie. So anyway, you want to find me, check for I am ChuksDozie, and most likely you will find me. All right, I hope this class was enjoyable, interesting, and all of that. So I've saved this as Photoshop documents. Now let me save them as pictures. All right, so you can refer to it while you're doing it. I'll also add my Photoshop document to it, so that will make you a little bit more enthusiastic about what you're about to do. All right, so I also put this Photoshop document. All right, so just do the challenge. Tell me if it was hard, easy. Did you learn something from me? Did you understand? You can send a feedback to my email at chuksdozie48@gmail.com, or any of my social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, wherever. I am ChuksDozie. All right, I am ChuksDozie. I am ChuksDozie. You find me there on all media. All right, so bye for now. See you later.